And hello everyone, but welcome back to a Wednesday. It's Trekyards mission briefing day. We take a look at a ship from the Star Trek universe, official, fan, side canon, facet canon, all the many realms, including some really fun fan ships. And today is one of those ships. So welcome back, Stuart. And what are we doing today?
Today we are looking at the Tiburon class heavy destroyer.
Ooh.
This thing is cool as hell. That's my summary. There you go. That's the full episode. Done.
So next picture. No. Yeah, I agree. It is. Well, it's different. I mean, do you remember first seeing this? I think this is the first time I've seen this really in preparation for this episode.
No, I've seen this. This has been in my folders for a long time. I've been wanting to do a mission briefing on it, but we didn't have a lot of pictures for it, but we're just going to go ahead with what we got.
Yep.
So
it's pretty complete views, and it's worth saying it's an Atomum design from Demon Renegade Studios. So well done for making this. What do you think, Stuart?
I love this. Like I said, this is like the Futurama ship, but Star Trekized, squashed down, and I think it's fantastic. It's a great new take on a Federation design, and I think it's awesome.
And there are some really, and this doesn't even show the full views. We'll get more showing how unique it is in a minute. This feels to me like either another alien race joined the Federation like 50 years ago, and their designs are finally starting to come in as influence. So they built a ship, thinking, hey, that's a cool design, we'll make it similar. Because it certainly defies the classic formula, but I don't think as much as you think, because it's still got a very distinct primary hull. It's still got distinct pylons and engine secondary hull. It's just now got these wing motif items. So it's like, and if you go to the next picture, in fact, you can see how similar the secondary hull is to like a Sovereign. So it's actually very similar to a classic Starfleet ship. It's just got different elements that make it feel different.
It's not a very big ship either. You can tell by the size of the escape pods there.
Yeah.
And the windows, which I love. I love the smaller ship design. This would work as a huge ship, though. In my opinion, this would work as a ship the size of a Sovereign, maybe a little bit bigger even. But they've obviously scaled it smaller for this, and that's fine with me. Like I said, this is like the Futurama ship of Star Trek. In the Star Trek universe.
I think, it feels sleek. I'm sorry, I'm going to use it. If you go back to the first picture again and such, this feels fast, so the small size works really well. It feels like a fast frigate, corvette, it's going to zoom into battle, either do its business weapon-wise or attack a target that's far the distance or pull them back. Or this is a built-for-purpose, fast ship, and I love the small size. I agree, small sizes are underrated. You don't need the big next battleship. The Defiant is a little ship, and boy, does it pack a lot of punch. There's a lot to be said for smaller ships.
Yeah, and I do like the take on the warp engines here, the way they have them vertically mounted.
Yes.
They could have copped out and got rid of those completely and just put those Sovereign nacelles on the tip of the wings. And again, that still would have looked fantastic. But I like the new approach. There's still a pairs rule, even though they don't have line of sight with each other as far as the grills go.
Although it'd be fun to see like another slit inside of the opposite end of the nacelles. So there is line of sight, but just the primary grills on the other side for some reason. Yeah, and I absolutely love the single strip line of the Bassard. I'm not going to say Bassards, it feels so single, it feels so minimalistic. It sort of makes it feel more advanced, sort of, like they've streamlined it so much. I feel like it probably wouldn't be, because more surface area the better, but I still feel it has a one step ahead of Nemesis style to it. Which I always dig. I think we want that as a fan base, to see post-Nemesis, and this does feel post-Nemesis.
Yes. Now, what do you think about the hull painting, like the World War II fighter with the shark face?
That's a personal fan thing. I don't think there's any place really on anything Star Trek.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it looks so cool with the placement of it there. I'm a big fan of World War II fighter planes, and this is very much like a Hurricane or something like that.
Yeah.
Painted on the air intake. I think it's cool. And for a specialist like Mako, Special Marines ship flying in, that's perfect for what that could be. So
hey, you've sold me for that. It's definitely a Red Squad. It's a This is their one ship, or even the first of the class or something. They've decided to pimp out with a bit of war paint. But on this bottom view, I like that. I mean, you're right. It feels like a shark. I mean, I don't know how they've done it. Well, it's just good design, but it has that sort of feel. It's an organic shape because it does correspond to like the oceanic life. It has that sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not you don't often see, normally a space whale sort of ship is unusual. It's an alien concept. But this takes a sort of space whale and gives it that Prometheus-esque, Sovereign-esque, neat design. I think really works well, actually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think what the real shark feel you get here is the color, the shape of the head, and then the pectoral fins that are like that view. I mean, it doesn't really carry to the back of the ship. It does a little bit with the shark fins for the nacelles.
Sure.
But that's where I think you get that. Although the phaser strip on the bottom with the little thing on it looks like a smiley face from Amazon. That's all. That's what I see. I see a smiley face down there. But anyway.
Speaking of the back view, this I think is almost the most beautiful view. Which is kind of strange to have a back flying away view. I guess the next refit is sort of the same. It's like it's a graceful, sweeping view where all the angles you see and appreciate. I really like that back view with it going out.
Yeah, here too you kind of get that sense of a sea creature just going overhead of you in the water.
Yeah.
I think the amount of phaser strips on this are perfect. Everything is just perfect. The detailing, it's beautiful. It's a work of art. This ship, I really like this. I want a model. This ship.
I want this CG model. It's all those interesting things. It's where a lot of fans would not respond well to it. And obviously, let us know in the comments below. I don't want to speak for you, but it's not the Star Trek design style. But I think, as we've said multiple times, there's a fleet out there for a reason. Specialist ships, one-off ships, for a purpose. And so to build something like this, I mean, if you think about it, this even this takes inspiration from the Delta Flyer. Having those wing motif elements. Okay, they're not warp driving this ship, but those sorts of things have come into Starfleet's design aesthetic in some specialist forms. Take the Manta Ray or the Aero Shuttle. I mean, these things exist, and so I see it more on that line of things, just upscaled, made in something way more Starship. Taken the E nacelles, made a shrunk down version. It's a surprisingly neat ship. I think you could, if you removed the color palette and made it all say bright green, you would not think of Star Trek. You could easily remove the Star Trek from it. But I think as a fleet ship, it works really well, and it's very original, but also obviously clearly, a marine life, and it works really well.
I love how you said green because I see Futurama ship here.
Yeah, it's true.
If you go to the next shot, it's from the back, but it's from the top. And here's where it kind of steps a little out of the box for me. That shuttle bay is very reminiscent of the refit shuttle bay and not specifically fit this era. I mean, it doesn't look like the Sovereign's shuttle bay. It's very much the refit shuttle bay just tacked onto this. That looks like the back of the...
Yeah.
It looks like they took a refit secondary hull and started building the ship from there and just left that the way it is because that's exactly what it looks like.
Or even, dare I say, it looks like the Kelvin.
You dare not say that. Dare not say that. But I see what you mean, yes.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think this view, I hadn't even seen the pictures, which seems odd since only like 4 of them. But this one, it shows the background of what the ship is. It's a Voyager-esque front. For some reason, a refit style, vaguely E-style thing, which breaks the shape lines.
And then like a Defiant bridge module. It's got the Defiant in there too.
Yeah, this defies how integrated it all feels. I mean, what do you think about this as a feel?
It's almost like they took elements from every popular ship to put together here. I like the feel of it. The engines are different, actually. The nacelles, I never really noticed. The back of the nacelles are much different than the Sovereign class.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does it look as if... there aren't exactly lines, but it feels like the ship can separate, or at least lose its very obviously differently shaped secondary hull. It just pulls out, and then now you've got a sort of like maneuverable Voyager-esque flying flyer thing with most of the weapons. You know, and I think that would look pretty hot as a secondary craft. You know, almost looks as if it's plug and play.
Yeah.
And if it is, then you could add different secondary hulls with different amount of nacelles. 4 nacelles, I think, would work really well with this concept as well. Prometheus, I think would work.
One thing I would like to see actually is those nacelles taken off and put like pods on them, like torpedo pods on the top and bottom struts there, and move the nacelles to the end of the wingtips and have them extend. I think that'd be a really cool looking ship. Don't get me wrong, I like this one, but I'm just trying to think of how I would have done it based on this shape. And
yeah, or using our own creative flair. But I guess the obvious question, what do you think those wingtip pod things are?
It's interesting. They should have actually bulked them up a little bit more and made them torpedo launchers facing rear, and maybe 1 or 2 facing forward. But they don't have a lot of extra phaser arrays on them or anything, so I don't know what they would be specifically. That's a very good question.
Well, things if we go to the bottom front picture, there's a lot of lights. There are more than 4 lights. But I mean, for me, this view looks like they are torpedo launchers. Maybe a micro. I mean, maybe an in between micro and big. In which case, in 2 5 launching torpedo pods at the front is really something. Dedicated. This takes the Miranda aesthetic to the absolute extreme in terms of firepower. The aft view is kind of, they've got 2, but again, maybe that's needed. Maybe you need to have the rest of the spaces of the magazine, and then 2 aft would still be very. For 4 launchers, still pretty great. Considering there are no other places to have launchers.
You're right, absolutely about that. I think that would make perfect sense. I like it.
Yeah, but you're right. A little bit more bulked up. / tell us they're micro torpedo launchers. It would have been fun to see, like the tubes be slightly, just the individual tubes have a slight bulk out, so they're launchers.
It also would have been cool to incorporate the impulse engines into those at the rear. I think would have been cool. Because the impulse engines are quite small on this.
If you go to the bottom back view, but absolutely.
It is a smaller ship, so that's fine.
I don't know. They're very Voyager-esque, but I think they should have been doubled in width.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the ships needs that punch of speed, but I do think they're well placed. If they were in the pods, you have to have all that technology inside the pod, whereas making fully weapon pods is something really aggressive. Almost like claws, it's an animal, but it's got those, aggressive things. But we'll stay on this back picture for a second. I really dig the amount of levels this thing has, the way it sort of abruptly gets thinner. It's got the sort of Enterprise E or Dauntless, and then boom, it suddenly shrinks down to like an Excelsior sort of size, which is odd, but I kind of like it. And it's got lots of different things that's out there.
Yeah, like so much about this ship just works for me. I have no real critiques. I would just modify it a little bit to make it kind of more my own, because I think that would look really cool. Actually, just doing it in my head, and it's like that's a cool ship. So,
I guess. 2 things I've noticed. One, the RCS thrusters. If this is the size of ship we think it is, those are big RCS thrusters. This has got a maneuverable amount of power to that. But also, if you look at the bottom front view, we can see 4 of the same red, mostly box formations that are landing legs, I believe. So this thing looks like it might be able to land, maybe, if that's what they are. Although I'm not sure how, but...
with that lower nacelle, it may be difficult, because those would have to be long landing legs. But
why not? I mean, you could have them be like, retractable, so the first bit's thicker, then comes out thinner and thinner and thinner, and then just put a tractor emitter on the end of it. Or a pulsar lifter. I mean, you really don't need legs in this day and age, really.
But no, yeah, I could see it. I could see it totally landing, because it doesn't look that big of a craft, to be honest.
No.
So.
Well, if we end on this front top view again, yeah, definitely the bridge. The bridge is, you're right, very defiant. It's no longer sticking out as a here's the bridge, which makes the whole ship feel different. I kind of miss having a dedicated bridge module. But because there's so few levels of this ship, it kind of works.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Anyway, guys.
Closing
Final
thoughts?
thought. closing thoughts is I love this ship. I absolutely love it. I've had my eye on this for a while now, but I kept forgetting about it, and then I stumble on it again and go, yeah, we got to do that, and so here it is finally for you guys. Like I said, I see the Futurama ship just squished down and repainted and modified to look to the Star Trek universe. But I love it. I think it's a fantastic design, and I have no real complaints about it. The size works for me, but again, as I said, this thing could be scaled up to Sovereign size, and I would still have no issues with it. It would still be perfect. You'd have to change the detailing, add more windows and stuff, but that's not a problem.
Yeah. I mirror those sentiments very much, although I do think this top view needs that secondary deflector, a micro one, as we've seen in the Voyager, the Nova, things like that. That is missing some detail in the front there, but that's minimal. I do think this design works really well to have maybe 4 warp engines or 3 warp engines, just in alternate, like there's all this space around it to plug and play. If you want to suddenly have the warp 9.975 for 25-hour version, 2 more engines, it would still work stylistically really well. Yeah, this is a surprisingly good design. So well done, Altum Design. Great job. And if you want a Trekkers original episode on it, let us know. I think we'd love to cover it and have it animate and do fun things. So yeah, there you go.
So guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. If so, click like, and if you want to help us make more, you can definitely do that. You can go to Patreon. There's a description, or the link in the description below. Help us out on a monthly basis just to keep everything running and keep things going smoothly so that we can keep making this content for you. Or if you want to head on over to Trekyards.com, you can do a one-time donation and help us out that way as well. Any little bit helps, guys, and please, if you can, go for it.
But if you just want to share the word, because obviously there's those out there who don't know about Trekyards, and we wish they did, and maybe you can get the word to them by sharing us on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Instagram, the sky, buy a plane and just have it on the sky.
Rider.
Yeah, do that. Trekyards and then www. Would be great.
YouTube, and then all the little numbers for this link for this video.
Great use of money there, right there, or just donate on Patreon. Hey, up to you. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more awesome content, and click that bell notification to make sure you actually hear when things are released. But until next week, next mission briefing, I am Commander Cockins.
And I am Captain Foley.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.